Thanks, Marshall. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Q&A. My name's Gary Gerber. I'll be the host, and Paul Higgins will be driving documentation for us. We don't have a lot of new, interesting information, but one thing we wanted to mention, well, I guess a few things we're going to mention, but one thing that you may notice, we get a lot of tickets on it early in the day, is when you're logging into CalPads and sometimes you're doing your work and all of a sudden you get this message, terms and conditions comes up. It's been an intermittent problem for the last few weeks, and so we let the powers that be know, and they rerun something and it fixes it for the day, but then it comes back every day. So I think the last I heard is they're contacting Microsoft to try and look into that. But we do, as soon as we get a ticket on it, or as soon as we see it, because it happens to us too, we let them know and they do what they need to do. So it doesn't usually keep happening throughout the whole day, but it seems to happen first thing in the mornings. The other thing is yesterday in the email, I think it was yesterday, the CDE published or put out an email about the new documentation, version 16 that was effective July 1st. That's your code sets and file specifications. All that documentation has been updated. Another announcement that we have is service desk will be closed on Monday. Hopefully most of you folks are off on Monday too for the 3-day weekend. So we will not be answering tickets on Monday. I think that really is all the announcements I had. Angela, did you want to talk about the SSID extracts and other things?
Yeah, and a little more background on the terms and condition problem too, that they thought they had a fix that went in yesterday, and then first thing this morning it popped up again. So they're reaching out to Microsoft for help on that one. The other big one is we did roll over to real-time ODS extracts and reports, and it's been a little bit bumpy. The main problem, the biggest one we've seen, is that the SSID extract is not working. When you request a file, it goes into in-queue and it never completes. So that's been their main focus, trying to get that resolved. It just passed testing about 20 minutes ago, and it's in the process of getting patched to production as I speak. When it does finish, the CDE is going to send out an email saying, hey, it wasn't working as of Tuesday morning through just a bit ago. If you had one that you requested, you're going to have to request it again. So good news on the horizon. Sorry about the delays there. And then you'll see on the known issues that Paul has open. In fact, I think we have a few more coming, but there's a few ODS reports that are not quite working right. I believe in the queue that's not on there yet is 1.17, 8.1, 1.3. They're all kind of having similar issues where they're pulling in historical students or historical students programs from other LEAs. Similar with the SPRG extract, and I want to say the SELA extract is also having a few problems. So now that the SSID problem is fixed, I imagine they're going to shift gears and focus on those issues. And that was all I had, Gary.
Okay. And anyone from CDE, Sean, Dominic, did you have any announcements for today?
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat right now, but we have the schedule for our special education data fall roadshows. You can find information and registration links at that link. They'll be updated as we get more information from our host county offices and SELPAs, but over the next few months, you can catch us all over the state.
Great.
And so this is where I feel Dominic makes me look bad, but it's okay. It's all love. The CalPADS office does not have road shows planned, not for 24, 25. We do host our regionals, and those are posted though.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the questions. First question, Q1, right at 3 o'clock from Eugenie. I noticed Flash 167 was removed from the archive. That flash in particular was about when to use the IFSP, IEP, or ISP, and including guidance on the 3 to 5-year-old students not in kindergarten. Is there another source on the website I can use as a reference aside from reporting data for students with disability matrix? Did we have a flash that came after that, or?
Where's Joe the Flash Tan? Is he on, Marshall?
I don't see Joe on. This is Dominic. This is what we were noticing earlier. Joe and I were looking for Flash 207, and we're not able to find it on the site because uh, I think near the bottom it says flashes older than 2 years are removed from the archive.
They should archive the archive, yes.
It's just archives all the way down.
Yeah, in theory, it's supposed to, stuff like that's supposed to get incorporated into the data guide. That is just because that has not been updated in so long.
But the information from Flash 167, I do believe, is in the data guide.
Oh, is it?
I believe that is one of the last editions. I think that's the one that introduced students with disabilities, the C2C transition. And so everything that's in the data guide originated in Flash 167, I believe.
I also found Flash 167 in the user manual. So if you just wanted to search on Flash pound 167.
And Heather put a comment in, there is an update to this is now pre-K students in private schools that meet the definition of an elementary can be served on an ISP. And she also posted a link there in the Q&A box.
Claudia put the flash in the chat too. Thank you, Claudia.
All right. Next Q1 is from Lil Thea. Thanks for putting it out phonetically. Hi, first off, I'd like to say I'm super grateful for these weekly Q&As. I'm new in town and I'm learning so much every day. Well, thanks for that. My predecessor informed me that the CERT 152 error was a warning for the 23-24 school year, but will be an end of year fatal starting this school year. Is this true? If so, where can I find documentation to share with my director? It's the CERT 152. It's a warning. Are we making this into a fatal?
I'm checking to see if I have any info on that. It's not on my radar if we are.
Okay. But if we do, there should be some communications about it at some point. So sorry about that for now. Okay, Q1 from Swan. Per Flash 224, in June, the CDE was confirming whether the changes made to how the key fields in the SCNR updated in CalPads apply to other transactional files, such as the SPRG, the CELA, and the SPED. Is there any update on this issue? Flash 224. It's an old one. Back in 2022.
I think Sue Ann's referencing the add, delete, replace.
Did we already do all this? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So is there an update now? It's there.
Yeah. Thanks.
My pleasure.
Okay, Q1 from Nelisa. If a preschool teacher turns 3 on, I'm sorry, if a preschool student turns 3 on September 4th, and the enrollment record in CalPads lists September 4th as 2024 as the start date, but the IEP meeting was held on August 27th, and the student was not found eligible, what enrollment end date should I use?
I think if you were to N470 the enrollment, you would use the same enrollment exit date as the enrollment start date.
Yes.
And as Heather notes, that would only be for students that were being assessed for Part B only, not necessarily for Part C IFSP students.
Okay. Okay. Q1 from Jasmine. For adult students, who should be reported to the state as their parents? Should they ever be reported as their own parent? Or does the state still want their actual parents' information even if they're revoked ed rights from their parents?
That is a local decision, and on a student by student basis. Because as you just stated, if a student, if parent rights have been revoked, then yes, that adult student may list themselves. But again, that should be a codified practice at your LEA. It should typically include your child welfare and attendance monitor. So therefore you have like some hard parameters or stops. So you know what is permissible and what is not.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Q1 from Sonoan. Just wondering if anyone uses more than the 3 lunch status codes, free, reduced, or paid. I only knew about the free and reduced. I didn't know there was a
That's
paid
a
one.
local SIS
Oh,
question.
Yeah,
okay.
Ethan answered it correctly.
Oh, thanks, Ethan. This is a CIS-specific. CalPADS only uses SPRG eligibility. Okay, thanks. Q1 from Marina. Our district is enrolling students with birth dates after June 2nd, 2020. So non-ADA. That being said, I am now getting the error SENR 0556 invalid school for non-ADA enrollment for status 50. How do I fix this?
Well, 50 is only for private school
Private schools,
enrollments.
yeah.
Or did we change that at some point?
Yeah, if you're using 50, you have to use the private school 00000002. And Natasha wrote, we enroll as status 10 and exclude the enrollment from ADA and our CIS.
Similar to what I've seen other people do.
Yeah.
This is an SIS question as well too. And so this goes back to that attendance code, enrollment attendance code. And so some people think that a 50 means that they're just not they're just not collecting ADA for the students because they think that that's what you're supposed to do because you're trying to tell us, you're trying to tell CalPADS that you don't want to collect ADA for this student. But remember, CalPADS does not collect ADA. That is an enrollment code. Most SIS systems have a indicator on them that tells you that like highlights which are CalPADS fields versus which are local fields. So I would definitely speak to your SIS manager or your SIS vendor, so you know which fields are for which, and you're not erroneously populating data that should come to us. But yes, you should use that 10 for students that are enrolled with you, although you are not collecting ADA. That's through your principal apportionment section, and make sure you're meeting that RACI document.
And just to add to that, the caveat, because there's always a caveat, if these infants are being enrolled due to Part C special education services, 50 is the correct enrollment status, but they should be enrolled at the district level.
Okay. Okay, Q1 from Catherine. Do we know why the direct cert extract is not pulling any information? Last week it was. Is that related to some of the extract issues we're having?
I was able to pull a direct cert file with data, including August results.
As was
So,
I. The person I was working with had just not identified the certified since date correctly. So they were looking for, since their enrollment start date. So they had put in certified since 8/12 or 8 whatever. So they were looking well past the certified date or the match date. So I just instructed them to use the 8/1 or the 7/1 date in the certified since.
it's a really good tip.
Thanks, Paul.
And if that doesn't work, Catherine, put in a ticket and we'll see what else we can do for you.
Okay, Q1 from Rebecca. When do we wait to request the SID extract again if it was done this afternoon just before 1 p.m.?
Wait till you get the email from the CDE. I haven't gotten confirmation yet from the dev team that the patch has completed. So the other thing probably to comment on that is half the state's going to be requesting SSID extracts after that email goes out. So there might still be a little bit of a lag this afternoon, but we'll keep an eye on it and make sure they're actually completing.
Okay. Okay. Q1 from Heather. Ditto on the gratitude to these Q&As. We received a question from another COE. If they have a special education teacher employed by the county but teaching at a different district, how is that reported? Or how is this reported? The COE as the LAA and school, or the LAA and school were teaching? Nothing to do with who pays them.
Sean, do you know that off the top of your head?
I'm sorry, what timestamp were we at?
It's
This is
304.
304, yeah.
I got two at 3:04.
Heather Nichols,
Yeah.
Shasta.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Two. Teaching
Wouldn't
in a
they?
district
No,
school,
that's a
how
different.
this supposed to be reported?
The special ed teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to know how to pay them. Employed by the COA, but teaching at a different school. So it would be typically, Heather, that should be codified in the MOU with that LEA. And so between the COE and the LEA of how to report that teacher. Typically, if that teacher is going to be the teacher of record, then yes, you would want to share that information, that seed information with the LEA. But if that teacher is just providing services, that breakdown again is going to be LEA specific and how you all want to share that. I hope that helps. And no, it doesn't. Yeah, we understand it has nothing to do with payment.
Okay. Q1 from Kathy. For seller records, if there is a leftover TBD from another district on a previous school year, will TOMS generate testing based off of your new enrollment this year? Will that happen automatically from the prior TBD, even if it was a few years back?
Yes, it carries over. So you don't need to send one up for your LEA. Well, Tom's will pick it up, even if it's old.
I don't know. I have a question about that.
Oh,
So
go ahead.
if it is a few years old, how is it that Tom's hasn't picked it up? Because there wasn't an open enrollment anywhere, or
Probably, yeah, that's
okay,
usually what I've seen, that they
okay,
got an SSID and then turned around and N470'd it, and then a year went
okay,
by and the next district picked it up, and so now they need to do the LPAC.
okay, thanks.
Does that mean that sadly you're going to be over that 30-day timeline? Yes, it does. It's just a part of it though.
Okay. Q1 from Ethan. Can you say more about the recently resolved issue 6881? Is that the students with FRPM eligibility dates after census date but before October 31 that were previously not being counted as socioeconomically disadvantaged, but now they are? Any changes to the FRPM counts or just the said counts?
So it looks like it was both FRPM and said. So what it looked like happened is 1.17, the LCFF report has different rules than the 1.1 and 1.2. So looks like previously for 22-23, we counted kids who were deemed eligible after census day, but before 1031 on 1.1 when we should not have. So looks like that's what got fixed. Hopefully that clarifies it.
Great.
The 1.17, like 99.9% sure, still uses up to 1031 as the cutoff date for counting FRPM students.
Q2 from Marina, but she says please disregard, so we'll disregard that one. Okay, Q1 from Charlene. This may have been logged in the current known issues already. I'd like to double check on the SSID match tools behavior. First time I checked, there's no match, so I requested an SSID. The second came back with 97% match and 100% match. Of course, the 100% match turns out to be a duplicate. Not sure what the question is.
I'm not following that one either.
Mm-mm.
Maybe a ticket, Charlene, with your SSID match job ID. And then the local ID in question.
Okay. All righty. Q1 from Swanzetta. Typically, we had the dates when the foster and former foster reports were available. Now that these reports are in real time, when do we know when fosters are added to the list? Is this a local decision as to when the districts request these reports, weekly, biweekly, etc.?
I recommend using the homepage, Swanzetta. We have the date that the foster was updated.
And Paul's showing you there where it would be.
And I think just for everybody else's benefit, previously on that ODS landing page at the top, we had the as of date and time for ODS reports, because every once in a while it would fail. And so then it would be yesterday's date. Now it's every few seconds or whatever, right? They're constantly getting updated. So in theory, it should be as of now, except for foster and direct cert.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite login. Yes, I still would like to stay logged in. Please and thank you.
Okay, Q1 from Anonymous. I requested a small handful of SSIDs today. Due to the issues with the SSID extract, I manually newly issued SSIDs to the SIS. I did not request an SSID extract because there were just very few SSIDs requested. Please clarify if these SSIDs need to be reissued.
You're done. You don't need to do
Yeah.
anything else.
Okay. Q2 from Charlene. We'll come back to that. Q1 from Eric. Can you please explain how we are supposed to upload report students free and reduced for them to get their SEBTs? Is there anything different that we need to do with the start dates in enrollment and or program participation?
/284. So is there technically anything you have to do different, Eric? No. We go back to that August 31st date though, for the 24-25 school year. If that student didn't already have a program and you're adding one in there, but that's the guidance there, 1 and 2 there. And then it tells you beneath that, what do you call that? When the extract dates are for CDSS.
Oh, the additional data extraction dates.
Mm-hmm. Below it there
Oh, so we need to
on the
scroll down.
screen. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. So it tells them like if they put it in by then, what dates those are being extracted then by for the remainder of the year. Thank you for clearing. Whoever just did that, thank you. That was wonderful.
I lost my Q2.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't
No,
me.
it's okay. Nope. It's all right. We'll find it. Gotta be here somewhere. It was from Charlene. Yes, here it is. Q2 from Charlene. If a TK student decides not to come to school, what's the exit code to use? I remember using an E400 based on the update flash 191. For some reason, I can't find 191 anymore. It's been archived away, I guess.
Mhm.
Do not use, Sue-Ann says, do not use exit code E400 for students who are ages 6 and up until age 18. Use E140. And then Kyron posted in the training documents for CALPADS flash 134. What exit code would they use? Would they use the E450? Or just a no-show? I mean, if they're enrolled, but they're not coming to school, wouldn't that be a no-show?
I agree.
Did the ticket go or the question go away?
It's in answered for some reason. I don't know how to get back to open, but it's in the answered column. And it's at 3:15 from Charlene.
Sorry, my computer's overheating, so
Uh-oh.
slowing down here.
Don't do that, Angela. But yes, I agree with you that you just N470 them
Yeah,
if the student ever showed up. That would be the most appropriate code.
Yep. And anonymous sets a Q2. A high school principal in our LAA received an email from the college board at ecollegeboard.org titled Get Ready for AP School Honor Roll. Take action by August 31st. Does this group know what this is about? I don't recall getting this email before. Does this
Okay,
group
so
know? I don't
uh,
know.
I can speak from a field level. I can't verify if that's an actual phishing email or not based by the way you typed it, but is College Board, do they send out emails? Yes. Typically, what are they asking you to get ready for? Either AP, SAT, ACT. Yes, so those are valid emails. If you're not a part of their listserv, as me as the CalPAS LEA admin, yes, I was a part of their listservs because that fell under my purview of ordering testing materials. But so did testing. So were they relevant for me? Yes. Did I need to know when those score reports were coming down so I could put them into our SIS systems? Yes. But that it ultimately it's a LEA level decision on who's responsible for what. Can that email be valid? Yes, it can be. And join their listserv is the easiest way.
Okay, and Rebecca responded, she agrees with you, Sean. Their email usually ends with @info.collegeboard.org.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I can't. Yeah, I was like, you need to look at that part for the phishing portion. Thanks.
Okay, Q1 from Yesenia. A student was wrongfully reported to CalPADS with a primary language of unknown, thus triggering the TBD and TOMS. The discrepancy was identified and the Tom's primary language is determined to be English. I manually changed the primary language in CalPads to English, hoping this information would be updated in Tom's. I made the change in CalPads a few days ago, but the student remains as TBD in CalPads and Tom's. How can I change the student from TBD to EO?
What grade level is the kid in?
Do they need to do a stairs request to get that changed in Tom's, or?
You have to wait a few, like you have to make sure that it can't be the same day. It has to be, that's why I asked, put in a ticket, Yesenia. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We need to actually look at that student record to know the best guidance for you.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, so that might be their first grade level. Yeah, put in a ticket for us, please. Thor, can you pick up the ticket?
Okay.
Thanks.
And Q3 from Anonymous. What exit codes do we use for high school students transferring to homeschool and or online school?
High school students transfer from homeschool. So if they're transferring a T180 for a privately placed school, sometimes.
Maybe Paul can show us how to find that information.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
In the code sets. It's part of what this call is about, is teaching folks how to navigate around. Code sets.
All right. Apologies. Where am I going?
Code sets, exit
code
codes.
sets.
System
This is also in the data
documentation.
guide appendix C, just FYI.
I was gonna say the FAQ, so I love how we all have different answers.
There's multiple ways to get to the
correct.
same thing. Yes.
Yeah, they're all correct.
So now he's going to be searching for exit codes. And T160.
Not T160, right? Isn't it?
Oh,
No, T180.
T180, I'm sorry. Yeah, not T160. There's T180 transfer private. And an online school, I guess it depends.
It does. That's what I was gonna say. I'm not sure what you mean by online school. That's what I was gonna say. Paul, if you pull up the FAQ question, I think that one answers it best. Because if you're talking about like an out-of-state online school, it's like WASC accredited or something like that. Yes.
Is that it there?
Yes. Yep. There you go.
So also T180.
So a couple of ways to find your answer.
All right. Oh, Shelly Ellison just posted, it looks like the SSID extract requests is working now.
And picturing Shelly just like that old Mervin's commercial, just open. She's been requesting all day. Request. I just heard from Marianne that the email is going out shortly.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, and in fact, I just got it at 2:36.
Yeah, sorry, Angela, I put it in the chat for you because that's what I was, when you were asking me the other question earlier, I was like, oh, wait, I was trying to multitask. I was failing this
call.
Shelly says that is definitely her, Angela.
I might have something to add for the exit code for high school students transferring to homeschool or online school. So the code sets document has a T460 for transfer to homeschool. So I think the two are going to use different exit codes for transferring to homeschool or transferring to a virtual school.
Are you sure the T460 is still active?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's expired.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
See, that's why I always come over here to the end date and
Yeah.
filter.
And hey, since there are new people on here, Paul, go
That's a
just
good point.
unfilter your code set name. So you're starting fresh on the spreadsheet. And for most of us here at CSIS, the first thing we do is we hop over to the exit date. That's when the code was retired. And the first thing we do is filter out those dates. So we only want blanks in that column. Then we're not confused by any expired codes. And then I'll filter on the code set name. So we don't make that mistake Matt just did.
And I guess we keep those for historical reasons.
We
Otherwise,
do, yes. Yeah. And I think there's some accessibility issues why we can't post things filtered already, pre-filtered. So we have to have everything unfiltered. So just another extra little step, but it's beneficial, I think.
And Ethan posted some information there. My understanding is only valid homeschool exits nowadays are to homeschool programs run by a California public school or by a private school. So you would use a T160 or a T180, depending on which it is, and that makes sense. If a parent can't identify the homeschool program they're enrolling into, it may even be an E140.
Go back to the FAQ, Paul. It's the question right above where you last were. It talks about needing that PSA before before disenrolling the student.
There we go. There you go. So it's in the FAQ. Thanks everyone for that. So no one has a Q2. I have submitted a few tickets and have not heard back, just making sure they were received.
I only found one for you. It was 311843 regarding direct certification. It is assigned to one of our trainers, but they did start training this week, and so he might be busy, but I'll ping him after this call. So if there were others, you'll probably need to resend them because they are not in our queue.
You should have gotten an email notification when you sent it as well too, and it pops back with that like automatic reply of, I think it says we have 3 to business. Well, we try to get to you within 3 business days, and we understand the importance. So if you didn't get that reply though, that's typically a key indicator that we didn't receive it on our end.
Good point, Sean.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Trust me.
But that automated email does give you the service desk ticket number too.
Okay. Thanks, Eva, for putting the Q1 there in their second comment. But so you have a Q1. Hello, we have a student who has an apostrophe in their first name. We are having issues with their name for other programs we use locally. It has been recommended we change the apostrophe in the student's name to a smart quote. Not sure what a smart quote is. Will changing the apostrophe to a smart quote affect the student's name in CALPADS? Is a smart quote a valid character to use and submit to CALPADS? I'm not sure what a smart quote is. Oh, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either, so I had to look it up. Straight quotes with smart quotes.
Still understand it. I mean, I've been reading it, and I'm still like, huh?
Is this an Excel issue thing or?
Oh, thank you, Ethan. He said it's like a curly apostrophe instead of a straight one. Thank you.
That just
Like,
sounds like that almost sounds like a font to me, not a different form of punctuation.
Well, as Ethan noted, they're technically different ASCII characters.
Huh.
Okay. Well, that might cause a problem then, because our system is
think it's
kind
the
of
tilde.
twitchy on those things.
Is it giving you a CALPADS error? Because that's what I
I think she's
we need to
asking,
find-
will it give me a CALPADS
Oh.
error? And so you could check that. In the CalPADS data guide, there's a section on that particular area about what ASCII characters are allowed. But it takes you to a link of which ones are valid. It's probably
Yeah.
faster just to test it out yourself, Ava. Just
Yeah.
go paste it in online maintenance and see what happens.
And then at the local level, that's a local decision. I worked at different LEAs where they had different policies.
Yeah, I think she's
Some
saying
of-
the regular apostrophe is giving her grief locally, so she's wanting to use that other one.
And
Yeah.
Ethan added he gets errors on invalid characters, or at least SSID matching on accented characters. So sometimes it's better, just like he's saying, leave them off. You can get the name in, get the SSID, and then you can always go and edit after the fact and then if CalPADS accepts it after the fact. Okay, one from Shelley. I didn't ever hear anything about the 1.17, 1.18, but Gary, you had picked up my ticket earlier and verified that there were 2021 students. There wasn't a known issue added. Do you know what is happening with that?
I'm thinking that's the ODS report. I did see that in our testers queue, Shelley. They got busy with the SSID extract thing, so they have a few backed up tickets for ODS
Oh,
reports and
is that the one I
extracts.
escalated?
You did, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's 2021 students is the year. She's saying it's pulling in those
Oh,
older
right.
students. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right,
we'll
thanks.
get that.
Thanks,
Get that
Angela.
as soon as they can. I think they're probably taking a big sigh of relief that they patched it and now they're going to shift their attention onto other things.
Yesenia as a Q2, are preschool students eligible to receive the summer EBT?
Flash, sorry, I was trying to figure out which flash it is. 269. Okay. To be eligible school enrollment, period. There you go. So one, the student need to have been enrolled in the 23-24 school year. If they were not, then that's kind of like a key. If they're enrolling for 24-25, again, they need to have that program record eligibility date on or before August 31st. And meet the requirements and have they had to have the program meet the requirements to have that program record for the 24-25 school year on or before August 31st.
And is that preschool as well?
Yes.
Okay.
But not all LEAs have preschools that are meeting those requirements. It's on a student by
I
student
see.
basis.
Okay.
So can we just blanketly say, are all preschool students eligible? No, not all of them are
Okay.
going to have a
Got it.
181, 182.
Anonymous with her Q4. What are some of the highlights of code V16 version 16? Can you give us a preview of things that are changing? Oh my gosh.
We'll gladly do so. And the flash, that'll be the back to school flash.
Awesome.
The other place you could check is, Paul, if you were to open up the 16.0, go to the revision tab. So if you didn't want to wait for that flash to come out, it's on the page you're on, the code set 16.0 Excel. And there should be a revision history tab.
Usually that first tab there, or second tab.
So if you want to just get a sneak peek, it's there. And like Sean said, there'll be a flash pending. And the trainers also cover some of this during the fall one training.
So lots of things dated July 1st. Okay. Rebecca is asking if Charlene's question at 3:15 got answered by the team. I think we did. It was in the answered section, but we did go back and catch that. There seems to be different information in the comments.
There's another question where we said N470.
I think so. Let me go back. 315.
Sorry.
That was a Q2.
Yeah, N470 is my answer as well.
Yeah, that's right. Because it said the student had left, or the student never showed up, or decided not to come to school. So that's why we said.
So we didn't go with either one, Rebecca, to answer the question. We went a different direction based upon the statement.
Oh, she's saying the student did show. Okay, so from the question, it
So
didn't sound
we
like
read
the
it
student.
differently. We
Yeah.
read the student did not show up.
They said decides not to come to school. So isn't that,
Yeah.
or maybe they were coming and then they decided not to.
Yeah,
So
she
in that-
commented down that the student showed up for a few days.
I
Okay.
didn't catch that part. So wouldn't that just be a E450?
Yes,
Yeah,
E450.
my dogs are
Yes.
barking. Sorry.
Okay, Sally, I thought you meant your feet.
Q1 from anonymous. So this must be a different anonymous. Our SIS has a homeless dwelling option of other. There isn't an option for this in CalPads. How do I report this? Is this a SIS question?
This is an LEA question of why you're collecting it, or what other means for you all.
Yeah. Oh, and Ethan posted E400 is a valid code for students under 6 or over 18. There may be more accurate codes to use if the student actually transferred to another school, but E400 is always allowed for those ages. Okay. 349, and we're at the end of the questions. Any more questions? Just a reminder, the service desk is going to be closed on Monday. So if you put tickets in, we'll get to them on Tuesday.
Yay!
You're not excited about a 3-day weekend, are you, Sean?
Just a little bit, Angela. August was long. August was
It was a
really
long one.
long.
That was a long one. And Martha was gone the whole month.
That part.
But of course, if you do put in a ticket on Monday, we're going to respond to it on Tuesday, wondering why you were working on Monday.
On Monday.
You get some responses back from me on Monday. Don't judge. I was finally able to get to it.
Well, I guess we'll give you guys 10 minutes back. Actually, there's a question from Orlia. Q1. Does CalPads distinguish our TK non-ADA students from our TK ADA students?
Okay, for once in a lifetime, though, I think I can actually help out with the pronunciation of this name,
Okay.
Oralia.
Oh, thanks.
No problem, because most of the time I'm the clueless one, so it's like okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
Oh yeah, CalPads isn't going to distinguish the TK student. I mean, if it's TK, it's TK. I don't think we don't do CalPads doesn't do ADA. So,
That's correct. If it's a TK student, you still submit them to us, though. Not a problem.
all right. And so we will give you 9 minutes. 9 minutes back to get back to work, I guess. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for all the help from everyone. And we will be back again next Wednesday with the next Q&A. Thanks everybody.